At one point, my tooth chipped.
Yeah.
For the third time, I spent my birthday alone. And every time I tell people that, I usually get the same question. Why? Some assume I'm lonely. Others ask why I didn't bring my family or invite my friends. And honestly, I do understand the question. Birthdays are really usually something we celebrate with the people we love. But for me, spending my birthday alone has quietly become a tradition. Not because I'm trying to escape my life, not because I'm sad. It's simply the way I like to reset. God forbid a girl likes her own company.
Grab cannot pass by.
I have always treated my birthday as my annual check in with myself, a chance to reflect on the year that's passed. But this time, I wanted to do it away from the noise of everyday life, while also doing something I have never done before, traveling internationally on my own. Okay, let's go in.
Oh, I am at the reception. I'm about to check in.
I think being alone really gives us the chance to think about things we don't normally think about, like who am I when no one needs anything from me? Who am I when it's just me deciding where to go, what to eat, how long to stay somewhere, or whether I want to spend an entire afternoon doing absolutely nothing or doing everything all in one day? Because I think we are always playing a role for somebody else. We are someone's daughter, someone's friend, someone's sibling, someone's provider or breadwinner. And after a while, we start believing that these roles are all that we are. In this trip, I realized solo traveling is not really always about finding yourself, but it's also about remembering yourself. You know, that version of you that exists underneath all the responsibilities you have collected over the years. In my trip this year, I chose Singapore because it's closest to the Philippines and it's visa free for Filipinos. English is widely spoken as well. And most importantly, it's one of the safest countries in the world. And as someone traveling alone, that mattered to me more than anything. When I arrived, what surprised me wasn't just how clean or efficient the city was, but it just felt like it was so easy to exist there. And everything seemed designed to remove unnecessary friction from everyday life. It made me realize how much mental energy good systems can save when you're not worrying about whether you'll get lost, whether transportation will work, or whether you will feel safe walking home even at night. You suddenly have, more space to notice everything else around you. And I think that's exactly what I needed during that trip. Less stress and more room to simply enjoy. I noticed something different about the way I traveled this time. A few years ago, I probably would have spent more time trying to get the perfect photo than actually looking at the landmark in front of me. I worry about the angle, lighting, but this time I took a photo, then I looked up.
Well, I cannot enter because I'm not wearing appropriate clothes.
I wanted to remember what it felt like to be there, not just what it looked like on my camera roll. Ironically, some of my favorite memories weren't even the landmarks. They were the little interactions, the little inconveniences in between. Before flying to Singapore, I had already mapped out how each day would go. Planning has always made me feel prepared and safe, but no itinerary survives untouched because it rained. Some places were unexpectedly closed. I got lost a couple of times and ended up walking way more than I expected. Years ago, these things probably would have frustrated me enough to ruin the whole day.
Mas pa ulit ang person, di walang mapapagod sa pamilyang to.
But instead, I found myself asking, okay, calm down, what now? Almost every single time, the alternative ended up becoming just as memorable, sometimes even better than what I originally planned. It reminded me that planning isn't always controlling about everything. It's also about giving yourself a direction while staying flexible enough to enjoy the detours. I think part of the reason I really became more comfortable with these unexpected changes was because Singapore quietly expects people to figure things out. The expectation isn't that someone else will do everything for you, it's because you can. In a lot of hawker centers, you return your own food tray after eating. And I have experienced for the first time checking into your accommodation yourself without any receptionist. At first, it's just a cultural difference that I noticed, But by the end of the trip, it felt like a reminder that confidence isn't about knowing exactly what to do, but it's trusting that when something unexpected happens, you'll figure things out. Like one evening after finishing everything on my itinerary, I decided to rent a bike. The app says there is one somewhere. It wasn't planned. In fact, I almost talked myself out of it because I wasn't familiar with Singapore's cycling rules.
I think I'm getting the hang of it already.
And somehow, biking around Singapore is one of my favorite memories and activities that I have done. And yeah, that made me wonder how many experiences I've almost missed simply because I was trying so hard to avoid making mistakes. Because, sometimes the things we're slightly afraid of, they become the story we remember the most.
Thank you po. To buy a one here that is close to the closure of Singapore. I found one store for that. And we're also going back to Chinatown to go to Chinatown complex because I did not go there yesterday because it was raining and I was so tired. Today, it's good weather, it's not raining. Yesterday it was raining this hour. We're here. There it is. I got it. I'm on my way to Chinatown complex to eat xiaolongbao. Xiaolongbao, xiaolongbao. Xiaolongbao. Finally.
Of course, not everything went perfectly because at one point, my tooth chipped.
Yeah.
I remember just sitting there and thinking, what the
Ito na lang yun na to ato kaon uba naman na to ngipon. So,
Not exactly the birthday surprise that I had in mind. Then I just laughed, because what else was I going to do anyway?
the Lord is teaching me patience.
So I just carried on with the rest of my day and accepted the fact that life happens anyway. Like that random rooster I found casually walking around the middle of Singapore after I went eating xiaolongbao where my tooth chipped.
Baby girl.
It's like the universe's confirmation that really life has funny ways to surprise us. And up to this day, I still have questions. Where was the rooster from? Honestly, I have no idea, but I think that's the point. Not everything needs an explanation. Some things just become part of the story. When I boarded my flight home, I realized I hadn't just celebrated another birthday. I had quietly celebrated a person I'm becoming, someone who still dreams big, but really no longer believes that she has to rush through today just to earn tomorrow. For so many years, I measured my days by how productive they were, how much I earned, how much I accomplished at work, how much I could do for the people I love, for my family and friends. But this trip reminded me that life can also be measured by quieter things like conversations with strangers, getting lost, laughing at inconveniences, doing something simply because it sounded fun. I learned so much about myself simply by spending time alone with my own thoughts, without the noise of everyone else's opinions or expectations. That's why I will probably keep doing solo birthday trips for as long as they feel right. To me, it's a quiet way of celebrating not just another year of my life, but the person I have been and the person I'm slowly becoming. A little tradition of honoring myself before stepping into another year.